Government mad over teachers' protest. Guyanese influencer fatally shot in Atlanta. And more local content plans approved. I am Enrico Bolford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6154. The Guyana Teachers Union had a protest this morning to publicly speak out about their ongoing grievances with the education ministry. And this protest has gotten the government mad enough to write a statement about it. According to the government, they met with the GTU last week and subsequently invited them to a meeting with the president for 9 a.m. this morning. But the GTU asked to push it back to 1 p.m. because they, the union, had planned to hold a protest at 10 a.m. about matters under discussion. The government claims the protest was opportunistic and disingenuous, and that the union is being used by opposition member Coretta McDonald for political mileage ahead of the local government elections. The government claims to be working on a multi-year agreement with the union to address issues such as duty-free concessions, scholarships, salary increases, and better incentives for teachers in remote areas, although they've made it very clear that if they didn't have to work with the union and would work with the teachers directly, they'd rather do that. But of course, if the teachers do that, then there goes the representation. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, am I right? Anyway, since we're talking about politicians, the chairwoman of the Lancaster Hawkstye Neighborhood Democratic Council was placed in custody on Sunday after she and others were caught removing PPP flags from poles along the Manchester Public Road quarantined by beach. According to a press release from the police, the cops received a report around 5:20 p.m. on Sunday that Sharon Smith was caught on camera with others using a ladder to pull down all the PPP flags which were placed on poles along the public road. The Attorney General and the Vice President of Ghana were denied the opportunity to join a High Court case filed by APNU over breaches in the preparation for local government elections. The Chief Justice denied the applications to join the matter, stating that their presence would delay the case. The substantive application, which was filed by APNU Chief Scrutineer Carol Smith-Joseph, seeks an order to quash the decision of the Elections Commission to change 37 boundaries in 19 local area authorities. Local government elections are set to commence on June the 2nd, 2023, with voting by the Discipline Services, followed by the general populace on June the 12th. The government has secured a US $350 million loan from Qatar to extend the schooner to Crane 4-lane highway to Parika in Region 3. The project, originally scheduled for completion in June 2024, is expected to be finished well ahead of schedule, according to them, with the new bypass highway from Schooner to Crane potentially being opened by the third quarter of this year. The government is also investing in other infrastructure projects throughout the Essequibo Islands West Demerara region, including housing, a new Demerara River Bridge, and a gas-to-energy project, all of which we barely know any of these specifics about. Inspectors from the Guyana Fire Service were conducting fire prevention and preparedness assessments at schools and dormitories nationwide today, with the majority of inspections already being completed. The aim is to evaluate fire safety measures and identify potential hazards. A recent inspection was carried out on the male dormitory at Martyr, but the findings have not yet been reported, but they're probably just as bad as those for the girls' dormitory. Independence Day is coming up, so it's time to declare independence from breakdowns with Powered Automotive. They have reliable, high-quality truck parts and spares for your truck at amazing prices. Visit them at Lot 490 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GTEats is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GTEats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today. Guyanese social media influencer Tisha Doris, a Guyanese woman known as Tubby Badi online, was found dead in the back of an Uber SUV after being fatally shot in Buckhead in Atlanta. The vehicle was targeted and riddled with bullets, and authorities believe there were multiple shooters. The investigation is ongoing, and 2 other locations may be connected to the incident. Oh my. We have sad news to report. that the death toll of the Martyr School dormitory fire has increased to 20. 13-year-old Sharona Daniels has passed away at the Georgetown Public Hospital after suffering injuries related to carbon monoxide inhalation. She had been resuscitated twice but suffered cardiac arrest. Daniels was among several girls who initially survived the fire and were patients at the GTEats. 19 girls and a 5-year-old boy perished in the blaze, with 4 girls already laid to rest. And on a related note, to answer some of your questions before, while yes, the little girl who was accused of starting the fire has in fact been charged with murder, the disgusting adult pervert who had an inappropriate relationship with her has not faced any prosecution whatsoever. We really haven't heard anything about it. Orlando Charles, a local pilot from Georgetown, is currently facing 16 counts of trafficking in persons charges related to the alleged human trafficking of 16 Venezuelan nationals between Mazaruni and Georgetown. The Guyana Police Force's Trafficking in Persons Unit conducted an investigation after the alleged victims reported the matter to the police. The pilot is expected to appear in court this week. Now for today's oil update. The Ministry of Natural Resources approved 13 additional local content annual plans for the reporting year of 2023, detailing the utilization of Guyanese goods and services. Approved companies include Bourbon Guyana, Chinook Petroleum Guyana, and Tullow Guyana, among others. SBM Offshore also received its certificate of compliance for adherence to its previous local content annual plan. Contractors, subcontractors, and licensees operating in Guyana's petroleum sector must submit a local content annual plan, detailing their procurement, employment, and capacity development plans for the reporting year. And finally, the hearing on the merits of the appeal filed by the Environmental Protection Agency in its challenge to the High Court's order that it must enforce the liability clause in permits of ExxonMobil's offshore oil operations has been adjourned to the following day, so tomorrow, due to the absence of counsel for the EPA, Sanjeev Dattadin, who was not in the nation at the time. An email from Dattadin explained that while he was expected in Guyana on Sunday, he was not able to make it because he had difficulties catching a flight.
Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home or business with Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question on current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you fear it is us. Last night I asked, do you believe the major parties are doing enough to educate voters on their rights?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
Mr. Joseph says, voters' rights? What is that? The government in opposition is a waste, and this is coming from someone that supported the APNU and WPA. But after being elected, they made me ashamed to say I voted for them. At this point, the only way forward is to remove them all, both government and opposition. I agree. It's a shame. Your Gran says, no one's going to give you the education you need to overthrow them. I agree. And I'm not reading the rest of your comment, though. I ain't trying to get a community guideline strike. But, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And finally, Davi Samaru says, why should the major parties educate voters? That's not in the best interest. Keeping voters blinded by group identity, race and religion and the like has been doing a great job for them all along, so they want to keep it that way. Indeed, Miss Samaru, indeed. Also, I hope I'm saying your first name correctly. Correct me if I'm not. Now for tonight's question. Because there's no one to challenge the PPP in multiple constituencies across the nation, do you think that write-in candidates should be allowed in those constituencies? Why or why not? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, you just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bolford saying good night, folks.